Hello, my name is Dr. Sam Hai. I am an internal medicine doctor. Thank you so much for watching. In this video, I will be talking about emotional eating. But before I do, I have a quick announcement. In 1 or 2 weeks, maybe sooner, I'm officially launching my brand new coaching program and school community, the 90-day Carnivore Blueprint. If you've been struggling to stay consistent, if you've tried carnivore but keep falling off, or you're just sick of the lies from big food and big pharma, this is for you. It's a complete system, weekly coaching with me, a step-by-step course, and a private community of people who actually get it. We're breaking the food matrix together. So if you want in, make sure you're subscribed. I'll drop the link soon. You do not want to miss this. I am super excited, and I hope you are as well. Okay, let's talk about something most carnivore creators won't touch: emotional eating. Yes, even on carnivore, you can still struggle with cravings. Not because you're weak, but because you're wired. I created this video to walk you through 7 powerful mindset shifts that will help you finally stop using food for stress, boredom, anxiety, and loneliness, and start using it for what it was always meant for: healing. Let's get started. On carnivore, 7 mental shifts that actually work. So, this is what I'll be talking about: 7 mental shifts. And these are the 7 that you need to make to handle emotional eating. Number 1, you're not weak, you're wired. Number 2, willpower is overrated. Structure wins. Number 3, stop thinking carnivore versus junk. Instead, think freedom versus prison. Number 4, you can't outrun emotional triggers. You must replace them. Number 5, stop chasing motivation. Build carnivore identity. Number 6, reward yourself, but not with food. And finally, number 7, expect setbacks. Plan your bounce back. So let's get started with the first one. The first mental shift you need to make is that you're not weak, you're wired. What does this mean? We are biologically designed to seek pleasure, to seek comfort through food. That's what we've done throughout history. The problem with that is that modern food today is highly processed. It's designed in a lab. There are nutrition scientists who get what's called a bliss point of food, where salt, sweetness, and fattiness is at optimal proportions. And when it reaches this bliss point, your brain is hijacked. Your dopamine pathways are lit as if you were snorting cocaine. That's what happens when you eat these highly processed, ultra processed foods. And it's not your fault that you're addicted to this. It's the result of years and years of propaganda from governmental dietary guidelines, from research funded by industries. So it's not that you're weak, it's that you're trying to fight something that is not a fair fight. Okay. So I say this here: this isn't a lack of willpower, it's a mismatch between modern food and ancient wiring. How do you think you're going to win the battle against a machine, a giant machine, the food matrix, with trillions of dollars behind it, and scientists designing foods to hijack your biology. You're not going to win that fight. Most people aren't. So if you understand this, if you can make this mental shift, that's going to go a long way for you handling emotional eating on carnivore. Okay. Let's go on to the second mental shift you need to make, and that is willpower is overrated. Structure wins. I say here, you can't rely on willpower every day. Maybe you're saying, why not? I have strong willpower. Fine. If you have super willpower, then you can pretty much do anything without fail. But here's the problem with willpower. Willpower is like a battery. It loses its charge towards the end of the day. You only have so much willpower. And then when that willpower is used up, you have less and less and less. And when you encounter stress, when you encounter anxiety, and you will when you're on carnivore, you're going to resort to emotional eating. That's why you can't rely on willpower. Instead, I want you to rely on structure. Structure wins. What kind of structure? Meal timing, prep, and a no debate environment. Make sure you have a routine of when you're eating. This will take care of a lot of different problems because you have the structure. You tell yourself, okay, I will eat at noon and then I will eat at 6 in the evening. You have a routine. You have the structure. You don't have to rely on willpower. Prep, meal prep. That takes care of a lot of issues. When you have food ready in the fridge, ready to eat, pre-cooked bacon, butter, boiled eggs, whatever it is, you can pre-cook it. And this will save you during times when your willpower isn't that strong. A no debate environment, okay? Decide once, execute daily. What does that mean? Well, decision fatigue is a real thing. If you need to make a lot of decisions, then you will feel overwhelmed. Just imagine that you're going to a restaurant and you open up the menu and there are over 200 menu items. Do you think you'll be able to make a decision on what you want to eat? It'll take you a long time. You will get tired. You will get mentally fatigued. That's decision fatigue. So decide once, execute daily. This will save you when your willpower is low and you want to resort to emotional eating. All right. Let's get to the third mental shift that you need to make to avoid emotional eating on carnivore, and that is stop thinking carnivore versus junk. Instead, think freedom versus prison. This isn't about cutting out pleasure. It's about escaping a prison. Now, some of you may think, geez, prison, that's a little over dramatic, isn't it? If you look at the food matrix as prison and actually understand how it has enslaved billions of people, then it's not overly dramatic. It's actually what's happening. Unfortunately, it breaks my heart. People are addicted and are slaves to the modern food matrix. You know, it's not just about cutting out pleasure, because you will be cutting out pleasure when you go carnivore. All these hyper palatable foods that I've talked about that nutrition scientists design, they're very pleasurable. But it's not just about cutting that out. It's about escaping the prison of big food, big agriculture, big pharma. I did a raw talk recently about the triangle of chronic disease. And those three that I just named, they work hand in hand to create this prison for millions, billions of people trapped in this prison. And it's not a very pleasant prison. You suffer from all sorts of chronic diseases, obesity, diabetes, autoimmune issues, IBS, arthritis. The list goes on and on. And so food addiction is modern slavery. You're breaking the chains. You're not missing out. Not only are you not missing out, you're being liberated. You're free. And when you have health, you're free. And as I've said many times, health is the first wealth. What do you have if you don't have health? Doesn't matter if you have $1 billion if you don't have health. So it's time to break free. And this is the mental shift you need to make. Okay, number 4. You can't outrun emotional triggers. You must replace them. Stress, boredom, loneliness. These don't disappear just because you eat steak. So just because you become a carnivore and you're no longer eating carbs and all this processed junk, does that mean you'll never have stress again? No. Does that mean you'll never have boredom again? No. Does that mean you'll never be lonely again? No. These will still come about and they will trigger you. These are emotional triggers that come regardless of what diet you're on. So you need coping tools, new coping tools to deal with these emotional triggers when they come about, because they will come about. So instead of reaching for cookies or chips or ice cream or whatever it is that you enjoy eating when you're emotional, you need to do something else, a different activity, not related to food. This is what you can do. Breath work, journaling, movement, connection. All these different activities will help you cope with these emotional triggers. It will rewire your brain. Breath work, what does that do? Breath work is really good because it helps stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you relax and remove you from the emotional trigger. You know, when we're emotional, our sympathetic nervous system is usually dominant. And so when you're doing something the opposite of that, this helps you cope. And breath work is a good tool to use. So is journaling. In journaling, when you write and you continue writing, you kind of get into a flow. And all of a sudden, you're not worried about the stress or the boredom or the loneliness. And journaling really can give you some insight and help you with some breakthroughs. Movement like what? Maybe a walk, maybe exercising, maybe lifting some weights. Any sort of physical movement will usually get your mind off of any of these emotional triggers. Connection. Maybe you have a good friend that you like talking to when you have emotional things come up. When you connect with another person, there's a energy there that can help you not think about the stress, the boredom, and the loneliness. So these are different coping tools you can use. All right, let's talk about the 5th mental shift that you must make to deal with emotional triggers on carnivore, and that is stop chasing motivation. Build carnivore identity. What does that mean? Ask yourself, who am I now? And this should be your answer when you're a carnivore. When you identify as a carnivore, this is what you'll say. I'm a person who eats meat and heals. Why is that even important? Here's the thing with motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It's like a fair-weathered friend. They're not always there. Motivation is not always there for you. One day, you're going to feel very motivated. The next day, your motivation is low. You don't want to do carnivore. So it comes and goes. Don't chase it. You can't chase motivation. Instead, build identity, carnivore identity. Let me give you an example. I'm a non-smoker. So I identify myself as a non-smoker. If someone offers me a cigarette, I will say, I will say, no thanks. I'm not a smoker. Now, if I was a smoker and I was trying to quit and someone offers me a cigarette, I would say, no thanks. I'm trying to quit. You see the difference? When I identify as a non-smoker, there's just no way I'm going to take anyone's offer of a cigarette. That's just not what I do. I don't smoke. And so your identity as a carnivore is a person who eats meat and heals. That's who you are. This is the mental shift you need to make. When you do this, you don't rely on motivation because, like I said, motivation comes and goes. Make it identity based, and discipline follows belief. Here's the thing with identity. Once you build that identity, discipline follows. And why that's so great is because with motivation, you can't rely on that, but discipline, you can rely on that. And that comes from your identity. I hope that made sense. Okay, let's talk about mental shift number 6. Reward yourself, but not with food. So you're not a dog. Stop giving yourself treats. Now, I know this sounds maybe a little over the top, but really, when you achieve something, don't give yourself treats. Don't give yourself food because you're nourishing yourself with real food when you're on carnivore. So what are you going to do? You're going to give yourself like a milkshake? No. Celebrate wins without self-sabotage. For example, if you hit 7 days, get a massage, not a muffin. If you hit 30 days, upgrade your gear or experience something primal. Upgrade your gear, like maybe get a nicer air fryer or a nice crock pot, or experience something primal like a beautiful hike out in the mountains. The reward you want to give yourself should be an experience that is beautiful, not food, because you're already eating great food on carnivore. This is the mental shift you need to make. This is the rewiring in your brain that has to take place. And when you make this mental shift, you're not going to be affected by emotional eating when these emotional triggers come up. And it gets better and better the longer you do a carnivore. Okay, let's talk about the last mindset shift you need to make. Expect setbacks. Plan your bounce back. You will slip. The question isn't if, it's how fast you return. And I've said this many times. You can't succeed unless you fail. And you won't fail if you don't quit. So you have to get back up, right? You have to have a bounce back plan because you will slip, you will fail. But how you bounce back matters more than anything else. So this is your plan, okay? Prep meat in the fridge. This saves a lot of problems. Prepped meat. You can have boiled eggs, like I mentioned, butter, pre-cooked bacon. You can have maybe cooked hamburger patties. Prep it. Meat that's already been cooked or almost cooked, and it'll be very easy for you to reach for it. Text a community member. Are you in a part of a community? And if you slip, what you can do is send a message to someone in a community who is supportive and will help you bounce back faster. You're not alone. Support is a tremendous tool to utilize when you're going through carnivore and struggling. We all need help. We're humans. That's what we're here for. We're here to help each other on this planet and make life better. And that's what happens when you have a community that can help you during times that you're not feeling so well. So text a community member. Rewatch your why video. First of all, do you have a why video or a why statement? If you don't, before you start carnivore, you should have a why statement. Either write it out or record a why video. Why you're doing carnivore. Who are you doing it for? What exactly are you trying to accomplish with carnivore? And this will help you because during times when you feel like emotionally eating, you can rewatch your why video, and that will inspire you, motivate you not to do that. It gives you purpose again. And so that's a good idea to have this why video. Do it. Don't spiral, reboot. That's it. So if you slip and you go on a, let's say, a 2-day binge of crazy modern food, that's okay. Reboot. You just don't want that 2-day binge to spiral into a week-long binge or a month-long binge, and it gets worse and worse. Just reboot. All right. So in closing, here we go. Closing and exciting news. Emotional eating on carnivore isn't a sign you're doing it wrong. It's a sign you're healing deep patterns that carbs used to mask. These 7 shifts will help you rewire your brain, reprogram your habits, and finally find peace around food. I hope I've made this somewhat clear during my presentation. If not, rewatch the slides, because the more often you watch it, the more it'll sink in. And sometimes when you watch something just once, it may not resonate with you. But when you watch it a different time, somehow you're in a different state, you're in a different mood, and that information gets in. So if you need to watch it again, it's free. Just rewatch it. And of course, the news I made at the beginning, if you want structure, coaching, and community to make that happen, I will be launching a complete carnivore coaching program and community very soon. Stay tuned for more details. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. If you want to follow me for more content, you can follow my Instagram at Sam_HiMD. Once again, guys, thank you so much. I love you all. I really do. And I will see you in the next video.